What's up, guys? I just got word a few days ago that we are out through June, so I will not be going back to work until hopefully July 1st, I hope. Wanted to just talk about my job a little bit. Right now, with working from home, it's mostly just answering a lot of emails, doing some Google Meets and things like that with students who need help over the summer, things like that. We're doing our meetings virtually as well for the office, so that's interesting. This has been a really interesting time. I'm trying to make the most of it, even though it's driving me crazy. As you've seen from my last videos, I'm trying to keep myself busy, but also trying to stay positive. And just wanted to talk a little bit about what I do for my job, and especially for wheelchair users, because I know lots of people don't work if they use a wheelchair, and what I found, it's because they say, oh, there's not a lot of jobs out there for people in wheelchairs. And what you don't realize is that, yes, there is. There are a lot of jobs that you can do, and they can adapt them for you. So I'm a student success coach, which is basically like a guidance counselor for college students at a local university. So I help them with their academics, time management, study skills, prepping for exams, registering for classes, like those types of things, and then just being that listening ear, and sometimes having to be the mom, and give them some mom advice, and sometimes having to be stern with them, which luckily that's very rare that I have to do that. And honestly, I haven't really had to do many modifications for that job. I can roll under my desk, no problem. Matter of fact, when I was hired, they had me come out there and look at the cubicle that they were going to put me in, and look at the desk and make sure that I could get in there okay. And they had said, like, hey, if this doesn't work, don't worry about it, because we can figure out another setup for you. So I think as long as you're open and honest and you're comfortable with yourself, like, the job will, they're going to accommodate you, no problem. Also, one of the interesting things, they put an automatic door on the women's bathroom for me, so that I wouldn't have to worry about using the heavy door and asking people to help me. So I thought that was really awesome. So you just, if you speak up and you kind of do you, like, people will have your back, believe it or not. And I'm also an adjunct professor. This is what I really wanted to talk about, because I noticed there are not, unless I've missed something, there are not a lot of people who are in wheelchairs that teach, whether that be at the university level, elementary school level, high school level, whatever. And I think it's not that there aren't people that are interested in it. I think it's actually people don't realize that they can do it. I was really nervous, to be honest with you, even though I'd worked with young adults before in my last job. I was really nervous about being a professor. And how is the wheelchair going to work in the classroom? How are they going to react to me? It was kind of interesting that I was so nervous about it, because it's fine. Like, the students, even if they don't know me, they roll with it. No pun intended. It's really neat to see, like, my classes run like a well-oiled machine. In other words, like, for example, I start my classes on the dot. So if my class starts at 10 o'clock and it ends at 10:50, I start my class right at 10 o'clock and I end at 10:50. Like, I'm very, I try to be very cautious, because it is their time, and I only have a certain amount of time to teach them, so we want to be efficient with our time. That's what I always tell them. And it's interesting, because one of my little lines in the morning is they usually come in at like 9:50, and so they'll be talking with each other, and then my line for classes starting is, all right, guys, good morning. Let's go ahead and get started and get our learn on today. And what's interesting is I'll always have a student who at that moment won't skip a beat. That moment, they'll jump up and close the door. I don't even have to ask them. And as the semester went on, both semesters that I've taught here recently, as they went on, I noticed I would come in the morning, and a student would already be in there and would have the computer booted up and running. without me even having to ask that. So they kind of pick up on what your needs are. You would be really surprised. And without you even having to do anything, they do it for you, so to speak, and they just keep the class running. They really run themselves. If I'm teaching and I drop something, I don't have to pause what I'm teaching. They get up and they'll hand it to me, or they'll help me without me having to stop or skip a beat. And to me, that's really cool. So I just wanted to take the time to encourage you, especially if you're in a wheelchair, and you're worried about going into the workforce or being in the workforce with a type of job. Just put yourself out there. Be, specific with what your needs are. But I think you would be surprised at how much your needs will be met without you having to say anything. I didn't ask for the automatic door on the bathroom. That was given to me. I didn't say, "Ooh, I might not be able to fit in that cubicle." I went and I looked at it and I could fit, right? They knew that these might be issues. The students pick up on what I can and cannot do, right? Like, they know it's going to be hard for me to close the door. So they do it themselves without even having to be prompted, right? So there's like a sixth sense there that I think people will have. And if you're comfortable with yourself, they'll be comfortable with you. I haven't had any issues of like students looking down on me, like with disrespect because I'm in a wheelchair. If anything, they respect me. And we have a running joke in all of my classes that if you disrespect me, I'll run over you, or I might put you in a force choke, because I often use references to Star Wars since I'm a Star Wars fan, and that levels the field. It lets them know that I'm human. I think it gives me more respect in a weird way. These types of jobs, they are jobs that I can do sitting down, but they're jobs that I want to do. So don't just say like, "Oh, I can't do that job because I'm in a wheelchair," even though that's my dream job. No, if that's the job you want to do, then go out and do it. So don't let anything hold you back. And remember, there's nothing you can't do.